You know, when you're studying something as intense as medicine, you think it's all about memorizing facts, right? Processes, procedures, the hard science. But sometimes the biggest lessons, the most profound ones, aren't about the subject at all. They're about life. Today, we're going to explore a really powerful idea, that the journey of a single immune cell can actually teach us everything we need to know about resilience, character, and growth. Yeah, it's a lesson from the last place you'd ever expect. And it all starts with a simple question.
I know. It sounds a little out there, doesn't it? A microscopic cell and a future doctor? But honestly, the parallels are absolutely fascinating. We're going to unpack how the developmental pathway of this one tiny cell provides a perfect roadmap for navigating the challenges and the triumphs of not just university, but life itself.
So here it is, the whole journey in 4 stages. It starts out as naive, then it gets activated, it becomes an effector, and finally it develops into memory. Trust me, this isn't just biology class. This is a blueprint for personal development. Let's break down each stage and see how it mirrors your own path.
Okay, so we all start at stage 1. In immunology, we call this the naive cell. In your life, well, this is you right at the beginning, absolutely full of potential, but not yet tested by the real world.
Just think about this comparison for a second. On one side, you have a naive lymphocyte, a totally mature cell that has everything it needs to do its job, but it's just waiting for the right trigger. Sound familiar? That's you. As a first-year student, you're packed with ability, intelligence, and ambition, just waiting for that real, meaningful exposure that's going to set you in motion.
So the lesson here is to really embrace this stage. It's a time for just soaking everything in, asking a ton of questions, and staying open. This isn't about passively waiting around. It's an active process of building a foundation that's strong enough to handle the challenges you know are just around the corner.
And that foundation, well, it gets put to the test in stage 2, activation. This is where all that potential meets the real world. It's the moment of awakening, and it's always triggered by a specific challenge. In immunology, we call that trigger an antigen. It's some foreign substance that the immune system spots and says, whoa, okay, time to act. The antigen is the catalyst, the thing that transforms a naive cell into an activated one. And this is where the connection to your own life becomes so clear. Your antigens aren't microscopic particles, they are the real-world pressures you face every day. That stress from exams, the struggle to manage your time, trying to adapt to new people and places, and facing really tough ethical or emotional situations. These are the things that activate you.
You see, when you run into these antigens, it's more than just a struggle. This is the beginning of true self-awareness. You start to figure out what really matters to you, what your limits are, and what values you're actually willing to stand up and fight for.
But once you're activated, the journey isn't over. Not even close. The next step is to respond. And that brings us to the 3rd stage, where the cell and you become an effector. This is all about taking responsible action. So, an effector cell has a very clear job to do. It's no longer just waiting or learning, it is actively carrying out a function. It's on the front lines, actually making a difference. And that's exactly what happens to you. After being challenged by your antigens, you move way beyond just absorbing information. You start responding. The choices you make, the actions you take, how you decide to handle that academic pressure or that ethical dilemma, that starts to define who you're becoming, both as a person and as a professional.
So what does this response look like in real life? Well, it means taking ownership of your choices. It means acting with discipline, especially when it's hard. And it means holding yourself to a high standard of professionalism and integrity, no matter what's going on. This is you in your effector phase.
But being an effector also requires a deeper kind of wisdom. It isn't about having a huge reaction to every little thing. Just like the immune system has to learn not to overreact, true wisdom is about choosing the appropriate response. You'll find that sometimes the strongest action you can take is quiet discipline or just thoughtful restraint.
This brings us to the final, and I think maybe the most important stage of this whole development. After the response comes the result. Building your memory and forging a character that lasts a lifetime.
Biologically speaking, a memory cell is just incredible. It's a veteran. It remembers the threat it faced, and because of that memory, it can launch a much faster, stronger, and way more effective response the next time it sees that same threat.
It basically represents resilience and wisdom learned through experience.
And this is where the analogy becomes so powerful. For the immune system, memory leads to a faster, better response. For you, your character memory does the same thing. It looks like emotional maturity, it looks like ethical consistency, and it looks like a deep, lifelong resilience and sense of purpose. That's the real goal.
This really gets to the heart of it all, doesn't it? The ultimate goal isn't just to leave with the head full of facts and figures. It's to leave with memory. The memory of the challenges you overcame, the values you decided to stand for, and the resilient person you became in the process.
Okay, let's bring all this together with one final, kind of sophisticated lesson from our immune system. It's a lesson in balance and in true wisdom.
This is such a powerful idea. Maturity isn't just about knowing how to fight. It's also about knowing what isn't worth fighting about. Some challenges, some criticisms, some antigens in your life are best met not with this massive counterattack, but with tolerance, with understanding, and with grace. Knowing the difference, well, that's a mark of true wisdom.
Every single decision you make, whether you respond with strength or you practice tolerance, it all shapes the kind of professional, the kind of friend, the kind of person you're going to be. The key is to make those choices based on your core principles, not just on external pressure from everyone else.
So here it is, your real final exam. Be patient with yourself in your naive stage. Allow life's challenges to activate you and wake you up. Act with wisdom and integrity as an effector. And above all else, aim to graduate with a strong, resilient memory, scientifically, emotionally, and ethically. And that leaves us with one final thought to carry with you. Your journey through university and beyond is going to be filled with countless antigens and countless responses. So the question isn't if you'll be challenged, but rather, what are you going to do with those challenges? What kind of lasting memory, what kind of character will you choose to build?